We're going on a road trip.
Vacation!
Let's go!
You gotta go.
Whoa, you need help? No, I got it.
Okay guys, welcome back to a brand new video today. Something very different on the channel now. As you can see, we're going to be talking and reviewing the latest Toy Story film, Toy Story 4. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Toy Story 4, as a 22-year-old, it was a major part of my childhood. And just Toy Story in general, obviously not Toy Story 4. But going to watch it the other day was just... I feel like my childhood finished. You know, it was magical. I relived it all, and then yeah, I do want to just say, I'm sure I will put in the title somewhere, but there are going to be major spoilers here. So if you've not yet seen the film and you do plan on seeing the film, I'd advise going to watch it first and then maybe coming back to watch this video. I wouldn't really watch this video first without watching Toy Story, and please don't take this as a yeah, I hope it, basically just hope I don't spoil your adventure. So, Toy Story 4 starts off kind of sad, really, for the main character, who I consider to be the main character anyway, this guy on the screen right now, Woody, shows to be kind of neglected. Now, this isn't anything against Bonnie. I think as kids we've all been guilty of it, of having that old toy that just becomes old, and you've had so many more new toys since then, and you can't bring yourself to get rid of that toy. You keep it around, but it's just still old, you know. And we see Woody fall into this, and he basically it's playtime, and all the toys are waiting in the closet anticipating, and she selects a handful and leaves a couple behind, and Woody is one of those few who just has to watch on from the closet as Bonnie plays with the other toys. But this shows, I think, Woody's commitment, loyalty, and why he is the leader of the gang and of the toys, because he still wants what's best for Bonnie. Now, Bonnie has her first day of kindergarten, and basically she really doesn't want to go. She wants to take a toy with her, but her parents are like, no, you can't do that. Like, toys stay at home. Toys just don't belong at kindergarten, basically. And basically Woody manages to sneak into her backpack and sneak himself off to kindergarten with her. Now, I'm not sure. At first I was thinking, oh, is he doing this to try and get back in her good books, you know? Is he trying to, you know? And I didn't really see properly what his intentions were, and I thought maybe I didn't see what was happening, what was going to happen. Basically, it kind of keeps you guessing a little bit, and I thought maybe she'll look in a bag and she's upset, and then he's there, and then her and Woody become sort of reunited, and the bond, you know, gets back. But not quite the case, really. We are introduced to a new character. So Bonnie is sitting there in kindergarten, and they have to do some like arts and craft kind of thing they've been challenged with, and this little boy comes up to her, and she thinks he's going to be a friend or like asked to sit with her, and he doesn't. He actually takes all of her equipment away, leaving her with nothing on a table to actually work with, and then he just goes. Bonnie starts to cry, and Woody obviously watches this from the zip of her backpack. And he creeps out. He manages to get to the trash can, gets some like bits of old paper, bits of just random little stuff, puts it on the table without Bonnie sort of noticing. And then when Bonnie notices all this stuff, she sets to work. Her mood has just lifted ultimately, and she sets to work, and she actually creates a brand new toy. Introducing Forky, a new character who I think added quite a bit of humour to what kind of is quite a sad story, actually. You know, it's quite an emotional roller coaster. But Forky plays a decent character, and again, I think his importance, his like existence, kind of shows again Woody's leadership, and why Woody is so important, or was so important, you know, to the gang. And basically Forky at first thinks himself to just be a piece of trash. He doesn't think he's a toy. He's obsessed with kind of committing suicide. No, he's obsessed with just jumping into trash. Basically, he just wants to be with trash because that was what he was made of. So ultimately, he thinks that he's just trash. But Woody manages to convince him that he's actually much more than that and has so much more meaning to Bonnie and is really important to her because of, obviously, she made Forky on a really bad day and Forky helped her get through the day. The teacher comes over and she's like, "Oh, Bonnie, wow, that's incredible what you've made." And Bonnie kind of shows Forky off and, you know, you can see her go from being so upset, so distraught about having to go to kindergarten, to absolutely being ecstatic, like, with this new toy that she's just created. The gang then go on an adventure. They go on a road trip with Bonnie and her parents in a RV. Once they get to their destination, Woody and Forky, who Woody at this point is giving Forky the talk about him being a toy and not a piece of trash and all this, Woody stumbles across a character who I forgot to say at the start actually separates from the gang, and that is this lady here, Bo Peep. Now what happens to her is basically she gets given away, and I think time goes on. This is kind of towards the start of the film. But Woody is walking past an antique shop with Forky when he comes across Bo Peep's light and decides to set up a kind of rescue mission with Forky. They're like, right, we're going to go in, we'll get Bo Peep, we'll come back out. Basically that, you know, expecting it to go that smoothly, but obviously it never does it, guys? We are introduced to two new characters. A very scary ventriloquist type doll, Vincent, and his kind of, you can tell she's definitely the boss of that antique shop, Gabby. Now, at first you think that, I mean, I wasn't convinced with Vincent anyway because he looked very, very creepy to me and I thought he just looks evil. But Gabby, I thought, oh, maybe she's okay. I wasn't too sure. She actually notices that Woody has a voice box and his voice box works. Now Gabby's voice box broken, and she believes this is why she's ended up in an antique store. She can't find a kid, basically, you know, she's been a lost toy is a term that's used quite a lot in the show, for a toy that doesn't have an owner, basically. And she's been a lost toy for a long time, and she talks about all she's ever wanted was to have an owner, basically. You learn this a little bit later on, however. She just seems set out on getting Woody's voice box. So Woody manages to escape, but Forky is left behind trapped. And basically Woody goes out into the festival, the carnival kind of thing, and he actually finds who he was originally looking for, Bo Peep. He just kind of stumbles across her. So the rescue mission then becomes Woody and Bo Peep going in to save Forky. Woody explains the importance of Forky and how Bonnie would be distraught if she lost him. She's already going frantic, and the other toys back in the RV are starting to freak out because they're seeing Woody and they're seeing Bonnie go absolutely crazy because she can't find Forky. And obviously the toys know that Forky's with Woody, but they're trying to obviously stall the family as much as they can because they're starting to think about leaving and going back home. So the toys get up to their own mischief back at the RV, which is quite comical as well. A couple of characters that, you know, you guys are used to seeing, quite comical as per usual. Woody and Bo Peep being reunited kind of showed this new sort of budding romance, and when I think back to the first Toy Story film, I do think they were quite close. They've always been pretty close. But I always thought that, like, Woody and Jessie were a thing. And with the ending of the movie, which we'll get into in a bit, it just kind of left me thinking, you know, when Buzz and Jessie were kind of almost a thing was it Toy Story 3 or Toy Story 2? I can't quite remember. But Buzz was it was Spanish Buzz, and he was obsessed with Jessie, and it was quite comical. But I always thought that it was Toy Story 2. I think I just always thought that Woody and Jessie both being cowboy cowgirl, were a thing. But no, it obviously not, because Bo just had this more, I don't know, more hold over Woody. Again, we basically are introduced to some more characters as Bo and Woody set out to rescue Forky. And basically, it's kind of, we're introduced to these new characters where basically this mission is to save Forky, and there's a lot of people on board for this mission. It kind of winds up, we learn more about Gabby's story. She just wants a kid. Vincent is just weird. But Gabby actually ends up going with the rest of the gang after basically she fails to find a kid. She kind of found one, and it was her moment. Woody agreed to give her his voice box again, Noble Woody, in exchange for obviously getting Forky back. So Woody loses his voice box, and Gabby has Woody's, and she's, basically her plan doesn't work out. This little kid that comes into the antique shop picks Gabby up, looks at her, and her nan, who actually owns the antique shop, is like, oh, you can have her, and she's like, nah, and then just leaves her. And that was Gabby's moment. She's been too scared. She's been practicing for that moment for a long time, and you could see the distraughtness. So Woody actually goes back for her, and he actually saves her when they've just been plotting against her to save Forky. He's got his Forky, but he goes back, and he actually saves her, and makes her go with the rest of the gang to try and get back to Bonnie. Now, upon doing this, they're on top of like a carousel kind of thing, and basically there's this little girl, and she's crying, and it appears that she's lost her parents, and Gabby stops, and she's like, this is my moment. And it's a really, really sad moment, actually. It's kind of sweet. You go from really hating Gabby to really feeling sympathetic and really sorry for her. She's like a bad character that turns out to be not so bad after all, but just, had logical reasons for her behaviour. And Woody has obviously been talking to her about everything he's experienced with Andy. Woody's been such a love toy that, he and Gabby actually says, I would give anything for just one of those moments. And it's quite sad, but Gabby ends up getting an owner in this little girl that is crying, and she's lost her parents. And then you kind of see this little girl take in Gabby, and she's like astounded. She provides her with like comfort, and and it's a really nice moment. And then the little girl then finds her parents as well, which is just lovely, and it's a really nice moment. And Gabby goes off with them. Finally, the gang are linked together. The naughty toys have managed to get the RV back to the rest of the toys have been up to absolute mind games and just tricks and madness at the RV, and they actually managed to get the RV to go to the carousel where Woody and the rest of the gang are waiting. And basically you get the ending, and I didn't like the ending. I don't know if I'm the only person, but I didn't like the ending. I feel like my childhood is over. I chose this picture in particular because it just confused me. I mean, Buddy is like a mixture of Woody and Buzz. Woody basically chooses to stay with Bo Peep, and he lets obviously Forky go back, but it ends up being like the rest of the gang as usual, minus Woody and Bo Peep. And yeah, he decides to stay. And it just, again, this is what I mean about this Woody and Bo Peep romance. Like, I was so confused. But you see Buzz, and Buzz understands. Buzz knows what's going on. And all I can think of now is either that is the complete end of Toy Story, which I think it is. I do think that is the end of Toy Story. But it was so sad. Like, I went to watch it with my little sister who's 12, and I mean, she started crying. She was like, "No, he's not going." It was, honestly, it was so sad. It was really, really sad. And I just thought, I guess it's kind of like a realistic sort of ending where, you know, it's not like your typical fairy tale happy ending where they all go back together and live happily ever after. It's like, well, Woody stays with Bo Peep to experience this new life. And I suppose the reason that he does it is because he knows that he's no longer significant to Bonnie. Even though he's done a lot for her and he always did right by her, and up until the very end, he knows deep down that he's lost favoritism with Bonnie and that Bonnie wouldn't miss him. So, yeah, basically, they split up. They all split up, and, well, just Woody and Bonnie, Woody and Bo Peep even don't go back. See, like, it wasn't the ending I was expecting, because I expected Bo Peep to go back with Woody, but no, yet again, I was kind of shocked by a little bit of a twist. But obviously this will oversee now Buzz, I think, and Jessie as the two new leaders of the gang. But I don't know, the ending for me, I kind of have mixed feelings about. And overall, I'm giving the whole film an 8 out of 10. It was a brilliant film. I loved it. I thought the story was really well thought of. There was some really, there was a little bit of everything in it, basically. There was the romance, there was the sad moments with Gabby. There was the evilness of Gabby and Vincent together at first, which turned into something else, and then, you know, it was a really good film, but I couldn't help but feel disappointed with the ending in some way. I'm not too sure how you guys found it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below anyway. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you have, smash the thumbs up button for me, please. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed, guys. And like I say, feel free to leave your thoughts and suggestions. Now, this has just been my opinion overall. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I hope you enjoyed Toy Story 4. And I hope I didn't spoil anything for you. Because I did tell you guys and I did warn you guys, to be fair.